hate wearing jeans, so that's why obviously I'm going to wear jeans. It's only been 10:30 and I'm already done with this day. Nah. 5 online classes, 4 look at ES3, trouble grows to cool baths and a porridge in a battery later. After the shining, utterly glowing reception of my last movie review from my teachers, not by YouTube doesn't recommend me, I am here to do another movie review, this time for psychology, and that is the movie Barfi. Now, it was suggested to me by a ma'am for autism, for the study of autism. So let's see how the movie goes.
पिक्चर में आजू बाजू वालों का ख्याल रखना पिक्चर में सामने की कुर्सी पे ना पाँव रखना पिक्चर में आजू बाजू वालों का ख्याल
Okay, this is great.
मोबाइल और बच्चे दोनों ऑफ रखना
It's starting. I'll be real, I want his tech gear. I know this is sponsored, but like, oof. Someone give me money. Sorry for the interruption and like, keep popping. But you know that feeling you get when you know you like a movie, like beautiful cinematography, the score is like mild and it sets in like something inspirational or something really sad is going to happen. Like, it is already too cute. What's happening? Okay, I know that I'm being nitpicky, but it is raining and people are playing string instruments. How is this? You don't mess with the instruments, please don't. You are going to ruin the instrument. Well, that was unexpected. I didn't expect to cry. So the movie was great, needless to say, and I will do the analysis जैसे हमेशा जैसे पिछली एक वीडियो से चलता आ रहा है. अगले दिन I'll do the analysis. पर so I cried from I was this is too much. I just checked the recordings of OBS and it looks like Netflix is pretty strict on its anti-piracy policy, which is great. I wasn't intending on piracy though. What would I do to show what is up with the children? This is interesting. early age, early stage in life, she was always this way, and she was this way before she entered schooling, and this affected her personal life, her social life, and her academic life. But personally, she was very shy. She didn't like to be around a lot of people. People made fun of her, and in social life, she didn't really had a lot of friends. She didn't get along with the people that was supposed to be her mental age, or even children, and she just got along with the older people, Barfi, and people who understood her condition. Then there is the deficits in functioning. So we know that Jhilmil has autism. So she has some deficits in her functioning, and some deficits in age appropriate behavior. We will also discuss later that she has intellectual disabilities, uh, which aligns with what we see in the movie. In the movie, we see Jhilmil has a very childlike behavior, and this would align with William Stern's studies that people who were intellectually disabled just showed children who were intellectually disabled just showed developmental milestones till a certain age, and then stopped showing them, so they were just stuck at a previous age, or they just looked like children from a lower age. And that's what we see with Jhilmil. She's a very childlike young woman, and her behavior is not age appropriate. She just behaves like a maybe kindergartner or primary school student. She has, of course, problems with social interaction. She has very few communication skills and stereotypical patterns of behavior, interests, and activities. She also has intellectual disabilities. We just talked about it, and which would correspond with 70% of people that face autism. Around 70% of people that face autism also have some kind of intellectual disability, and Jhilmil is no exception. Her speech pattern is also repetitive and deviant. She has a phrase that might mean something to her, and she just keeps saying it. Or she's quite expressive actually, but she cannot muster her words. There are some problems with her speech. Talking about her level of intellectual disability, she does have intellectual disability, but her level is a bit more complicated, because the only thing we have about her is just the movie. We don't have any type of tests, we don't have accounts from her caretaker, and the movie was generally focused on the well-being of autistic people, or in Barfi's case, people with other kinds of disabilities such as speech impairments and hearing impairments. And I think there was something along on the undertones of Down syndrome, but we can't be sure of that, so don't at me. But before we jump into what I think the level of intellectual disability is in Jhilmil, there is a disclaimer. Do not assume that a person is intellectually disabled because they show a certain kind of behavior. Get a trained professional if you're interested, or you need help concerning someone in your family. And I'm just doing this because the movie already said that she's autistic, and I'm doing this as a student who is trying to align her symptoms with what I have read. So with that disclaimer, get professionals. I'm no professional. uh, we can quickly go on to what I think. So if we assume that Jhilmil, Shruti and maybe even Barfi are all of same age, which is incredibly unlikely, considering Shruti just completed her college education and is getting married, uh, she would be in the early 20s to mid 20s. I'm assuming she was in college for about 5 years, so I think it's 23 to 25 years old. I'm going to put her in that area. So Jilmil is about 23 years old. Let's just assume the best. Okay. She's just 23 years old. Jilmil does know how to write down alphabets. There is no evidence that she does know how to spell. There are a few words that she can spell, but her alphabet, some alphabets, especially the B, is in a mirror image. So speech, so it would place her at the intellectual ability of a 5-year-old, a first grader. uh, but she does show certain abilities that would place her a bit higher. Like, she does speak and understand both English and Hindi, though she is not expressive again, but she clearly understands both languages, and bilinguals typically have higher IQs than the people who just have the knowledge of one language. Even then, she is at max 8 years in mental age. This gives her an IQ of 35 if we go off the normal formula of MA by CA into 100. We don't know how this standard deviation one is. Actually, I don't know. You probably study psychology and are well versed with that. I have no idea. So I'm placing her with the limited knowledge that I have in the IQ of 35, which would put her in the severe category. But let's not jump to conclusions yet, because and this is just a number, and this was all based on assumptions. Looking at her symptoms in a deeper level, we can see that she can take care of herself in many different ways. She can take care of many of her personal needs. She does go to the toilet alone, though she does need help with the clothes, and she, and takes care of her bathroom needs pretty well, I think. She's receptive to language, she is expressive, but that might just be Priyanka Chopra. Priyanka Chopra is an amazing actress, but she does have speech problems, and she cannot always say what she thinks, which we can tell that she thinks more than what she can speak. She can make friends, though most of her friends were old people and people who already knew about her condition and were sensitive to her. She isn't exactly that social. But despite that, she wouldn't be able to work. So being able to make friends, moderate category. Not being able to work at all, even with supervision, I think is severe category. She so I In my opinion, she leans considerably to the moderate forms of autism, so I think I'll put her in that category, though just barely. Jilmil has absolutely no concept of stranger danger. She went away with her father, who she met after so many years. She was now an adult, and she was left in Muskan when she was 6. So even then, she went readily. She went with Barfi readily, and you know there are serious questions about stranger danger. for autistic people and how they could be exploited, and knowing what the outcome is, and how her father actually manipulated her for her trust money, is concerning to say the very least. What would happen if people like Jhalmil do not have supportive people like Barfi and Shruti maybe around her, and Dadu.
To me, bring back, oh, bring back, oh, bring back my body to me, Hasamat! 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 Hasamat!
Another thing that concerns me a lot is, the when Barfi tries to test friendships with people, when he cuts light poles in order to check if they would leave. Well, she didn't move. Jhalmil didn't move, and it should be a natural aversion, a natural fear. It is concerning to me that Barfi chose to test it like this, and the test in itself is pretty sad. I'll be honest. And it is really sad to me how her support system, her emotional support system, is so often taken away from her. Her Dadu was, first of all, her Dadu that she had in Muskan, the CEO of, the founder of Muskan. She was taken away from him. Then her Nanu died. Then Masi was removed from the job. Then at some point, there was also the separation from Barfi, and she also got jealous because of Shruti. And thinking about how her father was trying to manipulate her into extorting money out of her, it is pretty terrifying, not knowing what people are doing around you, and your life just. His father almost killed her, almost. It's a scary movie. To be honest, if you remove all the Charlie Chaplin fun part, when Barfi tried to rob a bank, he failed miserably, but it still had that Charlie Chaplin music playing in the background, even though we know his dad just died and he's testing chloroform, and all these very sad, depressing themes buried under tons of cheerful music and glow and light. Something doesn't set right with me.